Anyways,
Yes.
are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be. Say something profound.
We're here, and we're about to make history.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Good But Not Soft podcast. Today we are here with a bit of a duo. We are missing our good buddy Ronald due to conflicting schedules. We are currently only running a two-man podcast.
Yeah, he was boring and couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Something about having to get stuff ready for his job or something, you know.
Something about having a real life.
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't make sense to me.
So you might notice we got new mugs. Don't know when this podcast is going to come out in order because I think we're going to try to slip in one more but with Ronald before this podcast airs, so it might be a little out of order. So you might see the mugs before we announce them, but we got cool new mugs, so you probably won't be seeing the Mando mug back again, which that episode may not, the Star Wars episode may not air. We don't know yet. But it was in the first episode the Mando mug was, so.
The Mando mug was, it led into a very long, lengthy conversation.
A lot of Star Wars nerd talk.
It was.
And if
We
that
don't
episode airs,
know.
we're going to cut a lot of it out.
Yeah, we don't know if it'll retain the viewers. So, we'll see whether or not that will air. So, we're going to try and keep this less nerdy, at least in that aspect.
I'm sure y'all will appreciate it because that was a lot.
It was a lot. Like
But-
40 whole minutes of Star Wars ramblings.
Yep. So, you just got back from Colorado,
Yes, I did.
and you are here for how long?
3 days, I want to say.
3 days, yeah. And then you'll be going back Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
This is currently Thursday. Goodness gracious. It's
It
been a long
hurts.
day.
It's hard to think.
Currently Thursday.
Yeah, so we'll see if maybe we can squeeze in a podcast with the three of us, but
Hopefully
it
sometime
is
this
looking
weekend.
not promising as of now.
Yeah.
But definitely been having some fun buying new toys. It's what happens whenever you travel. You get bored and you buy stuff that you can't use while you travel, so then you're more bored and you buy more stuff. I've still got to work on that. I don't know what the cure to that is, but
It's kind of looking like getting married might help a little bit. It's at least going to slow him down a little bit.
slow me down, maybe. Or I could just stay home, but that would slow my spending on multiple levels. And the amount I could spend and the amount I, would be bored.
Not to mention your fiance would be able to see it whenever you're spending stuff.
I mean, you just be like, act like I've had this my whole life. Just be like, oh, you've never seen this before? Huh.
What y'all can't see is his fiance is off camera, but she fell asleep, so we must be pretty boring.
Must be. She, I don't know.
Yeah. Some think we're funny, but apparently not her.
She's just here for my good looks and the money.
I believe it. They're trying not to laugh now.
It's real comforting whenever they laugh at comments like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm not here for your good looks. You look horrible.
She's trying not to come over here and beat him right now.
The truth really comes out in these circumstances, especially when it's my truth and it's one-way conversation. It always makes it interesting that way.
Oh, man. So you're talking about new toys. You get anything interesting recently?
I've been all over the board, from anything from tactical gear to ham radio. All of that is actually arriving this weekend, hopefully before I take off.
Nice.
So we're operating anywhere from HF radios to a new Blue Force Sling.
Our living room looks like a op room right now.
It really does.
Got 3+ sets of full tack gear laying out in there.
3 sets of plates at least.
Yeah.
So.
3 full sets of tack gear, and then some additional items. But
Just as you do as a hobby, you know?
yeah.
As everyone does.
It's a fun hobby, but expensive.
It is. Most of my hobbies are expensive. Actually, I'm having a hard time thinking of any cheap hobbies. For those of y'all who don't know, ham radio is not a cheap hobby. The tactical community, I guess we can call it's not a cheap hobby. Hunting would not be a cheap hobby. None of the things I really dabble in qualify as a cheap hobby.
Probably the cheapest hobby I've ever had was basketball.
Basketball.
That's about it. Probably, I don't know, fishing. I've only got, you know, low $1,000 range in fishing gear.
That is an expensive hobby, depending.
Mostly
because
because I'm terrible at fishing, so I get all my lures stuck in the pond.
I feel like, you know, the rods and the reels are the cheap part, because for me, at least, my labels are labeled as accessory. My lures are labeled as consumables. I can't speak because they go missing a lot, and so I mean, it's kind of like, you know, every 30 casts you lose a $5 lure. It seems like, so you just got to factor that into the equation, unless you find out the secret, which is a topwater frog with 80-pound braided line.
Or just lose enough lures that you know where every stick is in the water. That's about where I'm at now.
That sounds pricey.
I mean, it's not as bad as $400 plate carriers.
Hey, I mean, it's not as bad as $600 ham radios either, but that's kind of beside the point. That was not what we were talking about.
Oh, man, yeah.
Too much fun. And unfortunately, I don't even get to play with most of it. I really want to get out and do drills, shooting. I'd love to do it like every day, but being on the road, that does not happen. So I just spend money and, you know, and my boredom and ship it all back to Oklahoma where it's somehow gonna keep me entertained. It doesn't work that way. Hopefully I can take the radios with me, though, and play with those.
Yeah. Say, he apparently has been splurging big before getting married. He's fixing to get married, so he should be saving money, but he's recently purchased a bunch of radio equipment, tactical gear, a gaming computer. I don't even know what else.
Better sooner than later, right? I gotta get it now or never.
Oh, man. Something like that. I don't know.
Got told by my dad it was 20 years after he got married that he got his fast helmet. So I got told I needed to do it now, or, you know, it'd be like 20 years from now whenever I got mine.
It's only another $500 to $1,600 depending on what you go for.
I want to say the ceiling's, you know, the roof. With
the ceiling's the roof.
Yes, it is. The ceiling,
you're about as
the ceiling sometimes is the roof.
You're about as good at the English as Ron.
I'm tired. Someone made me work out and then was like, "Hey, let's go do a podcast."
Yeah, I don't even know what time it is. It's probably 1 a.m. right now.
It's Friday now.
Yeah, I guess it is Friday. Time of recording. Oh, it's almost 2 o'clock.
That's the sad thing about coming home for, you know, 3 or so days. No, what would that be? 4 days? 3 days, kind of. Is you really stretch those hours because you don't have a whole lot of time being home. End up staying up quite late every time I come back.
Yeah, we're I was trying to get him to go gaming tonight with me as well, but he wouldn't do that. Something about had to hang out with his fiance or something.
Yeah. I mean, you'll get there.
Nah, I don't know. It's cheaper to be single. It's easier.
I mean, depends on how you look at it, but
He's watching what he says this time since she's literally watching us record.
end up with a phone thrown at me.
She's already thought about it a few times. Pretty sure.
Dangerous projectiles headed my way.
Yeah.
Could go wildly out of hand.
I was hoping her being over there would mean that Josh would actually look at the camera for once, but
No. I don't look at the camera.
he won't look at the camera like ever.
Y'all can't see my deep brown eyes because y'all would be entranced. And y'all would have no other choice but to binge watch every podcast that we ever make.
Considering our audience is probably looking like it's going to be mostly male, that's quite the statement.
I mean, you know,
If it keeps viewer attention, that's fine. Is why we need Ronald to keep the peace. Keep
peace?
not the peace.
the peace. Okay.
Yeah,
He's going to keep the peace. I don't think he would be the one to keep the peace.
he'll try to keep the conversation flowing a little better later.
Today we got to learn about the Marines duck.
Yeah,
That was on the topic of today. The only duck that I know of that got commended by an officer,
yeah.
as far as I'm aware of.
Getting into combat with the Japanese rooster during World War II. I mean,
Just the more you know.
adopted by the Marines and got into combat with a Japanese rooster. Because America, I
They
guess.
tried to get him the Purple Heart. Apparently that didn't go through.
Apparently you can't give a duck a Purple Heart.
I don't see why. Did they give Sergeant Reckless a Purple Heart?
No, I don't know. I'm getting told off camera that they gave Sergeant Reckless 2 Purple Hearts.
Oh yeah, why didn't we give the duck Purple Heart?
So, well, Sergeant Reckless was a little later. That was Korea. But for
Oh.
those of y'all who don't know who Sergeant Reckless is a horse that during the Korean War, the Marines were trying to hold Outpost Vegas. And Outpost Vegas was one of these 3 hills along the front line. It was Reno, Carson, and Vegas. Vegas was the largest, and it was a steep hill. They couldn't drive trucks up it. And so they went and bought a horse and trained it. They called it Hoof Camp and trained it to be desensitized towards recoilless rifle fire and had a special saddle built for it. And they would have it haul 6, I believe, recoilless rifle shells up and down the hill. And they could keep them going. And the horse ended up getting multiple Purple Hearts, so I'm told. And as far as I can tell, that horse is the earliest recorded gender reveal party thrown by the Marines. And so just going to hold that one over the Marines forever now.
Yeah.
Throwing a gender reveal party for a horse. Because why not?
Why?
What?
Why do we need to throw a gender reveal party for a horse?
Because of a little bit of a failed publicity stunt. They're going to breed the horse with a famous racehorse that was set to win the Triple Crown. And the higher, upper command did not inform the lower enlisted who took care of the horse that this was happening. And he took the Sergeant Reckless over to Penn, where it was supposed to be kept until the racehorse showed up, but somebody else put another Marine pack horse in, and by the time the racehorse got there, it was a little too late, and it didn't have the racehorse's baby. It had the pack horse's baby. So whenever they found out that it wasn't bred to the racehorse, the officers, to save face, decided to put a huge billboard that said, "It's a ... Thus, the first, at least on record, gender reveal party.
I see.
And
Okay, how you worded that?
And then they wrote
I thought
boy
they were,
once the baby was born. 'cause
I
the baby
thought
boy.
you were saying that they had a gender reveal party for Sergeant Reckless,
Nope.
and I was confused on how they couldn't figure that one out.
The horse did attend the Marine Corps ball, though. So there's that. There are photos of that you can find online.
Did it drink?
Yes, the horse drank and drank. Lots of drinking. They said that the horse was practically one of the Marines. And since it was a sergeant, you were lower rank and it came and stuck its lip out to you, you had to give it a drink or feed it whatever you were eating, because it was ordering you to give it your food. Its pen, once it got back, was next to the base commander's house, is where Sergeant Reckless was kept,
I see.
and was not allowed to carry anything more than a special blanket.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's what we tend to do with special things, whether it be men or equipment. It's like, actually, we can't afford to actually put you into combat.
Yeah, see,
You should just stay back here.
our best tank crew decide, you're maybe a little too good, and it would look bad if somebody as decorated as you died. So we're gonna let you stay at the back of this big push. That happened
I mean,
quite a few times.
Not
one of the best
American.
bombing
We've
crews.
got, like, the Bismarck, and I think the Japanese had their version of it that, like, pretty much never
The
saw.
Yamato.
Maybe.
It was the biggest battleship.
Never,
But
saw combat.
It was so
because
big it couldn't do anything.
They didn't want it anywhere near where it could get blown up.
Pretty much, it was the Japanese flagship. Well, I think we are probably gonna leave it off here. We'll let Josh sign us out.
All right. Thank you all once again for watching, hopefully, another episode of the Good But Not Soft podcast. As always, we enjoy having y'all around. Please interact if you enjoyed the video, or if not, tell us about
Give
it.
us a like, subscribe, leave us a comment. Tell us, what you think we should talk about.
Mm-hmm. We would definitely love to hear what y'all would like us to talk about. We don't script what we're gonna say,
I bet you'd have never guessed that.
but we definitely are not opposed to giving us some guidelines
Just some suggestions to bring up.
to what we're gonna do, so we have something to roll with in case we have a bit of a lag. But now that we've gone down another rabbit trail, thank y'all once again for watching, and we'll catch you on the next time.
All right, before we go, what's your good advice?
My good advice,
Come on,
I
man.
would at least suggest you try and find that right person for you.